A monumental shift is happening towards the end of March. Saturn, the planet of karma and material manifestation, is changing signs. For the first time in 30 years almost, it is moving to its most favorite sign in Aquarius, where it can do the best according to ancient astrology. And what does it mean for you personally? It means that the end of a serious problems in your life. For many of you, towards the end of March and April, you'll see the end of certain troubles, of certain situations that were too complicated, that were too restraining, or that were too limiting in some way. The end of certain responsibilities, the completion of certain responsibilities and the results of them, but also moving into a totally new set of priorities and important lessons that you have to learn. The start of a new bunch of karmic lessons with Saturn moving in Aquarius, which will actually give very good results by the end of this period. It's going to take about 2.5 years for you to see the results. It's almost like while Saturn was in Capricorn, you were building the foundations, you were building the structure of something, you were disciplining yourself. And when it moves to Aquarius, you're going to now build the infrastructure, you're going to build the connections and the networking to achieve that goal or that that great work. So there will be a refocusing, a change of directions for all of you gradually from the end of March, from one set of priorities and difficulties to solve and lessons to master to another set of priorities and lessons to master, which will end up in the fulfillment of a great work, in the achievement of a great work for you. So exciting times, guys. March also brings Mercury going direct. So great news, 2 planets in their own signs. So listen what's going to happen for each of the 12 signs. Plus, we are doing an apprenticeship, so our second apprenticeship, one-on-one with a tutor, with an amazing astrologer, the best astrologer I've ever seen, with the best predictive techniques, Victor. It's his second apprenticeship. We already had our first apprenticeship group, but you work one-on-one with the teacher, graduate, and out of that apprenticeship group, 4 people are going to be working with us, will be astrologers that you will see that they will do videos with us. So if you'd like to have a chance to work with us with Astrological, or just to learn astrology as a master, come and join us for this apprenticeship. Very few people, he cannot take many because he works one-on-one with them, and it's 30 or 20% off till the 20th of March. Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, March 2020. Let's start with the general month prediction. That is just specific for March, and then we're going to go into the really big thing, Saturn moving into Aquarius, which will affect you for 2-3 years ahead. Okay, first, specifically for March, Mercury is turning direct on the 10th. So if there was some complications in regards to your personal life, relationships, contract agreements, maybe some stresses there in communications with others on one-to-one, or delays with signing of contracts and agreements because Mercury turns retrograde, was retrograde in your 7th house, they start improving, they start moving forward. You start seeing resolutions there. If there were some delays with the collaboration, or if you had to work extra hard to make a contract or agreement happen, or relationship, if things came back from the past in regards to relationships, to be addressed, to be, dusted off or talked over, and that might have created some stresses in relationships. Well, now when Mercury is turning direct in your 7th house around the 10th of March, maybe earlier, maybe a bit later, you'll start seeing that, okay, it was worth it. The stress, now this relationship is more stable, or okay, we could not make it work, we're moving our separate ways with this business partnership or this agreement or this partner or this person in my life, so it's no longer gonna stress me, I'm moving forward. Or like, oh, we've improved the relationship, okay, everything comes back to normal, but in an improved way. Then Mercury continues to move direct into your 8th house, where it was retrograde in February. So if there were some complications and stresses with mutual finances and resources, with insurances, with inheritances, with taxes, if you had to redo over and over some documents or papers, or kind of edit and fix some mistakes in regards to those things, if there were some delays with those things, taxes, insurances, inheritances, or finances of a partner, or money you're expecting from a client, then again it starts improving. It comes to start moving forward in a more predictable way, without complications. If there was some okay, I'm not gonna dig into that anymore. Then Venus for most of March will be in its own sign, which is for you, this is the 10th house of career. So Leos, wherever Venus goes, it helps things become more smooth, more easy for you to receive support, to charm others. Well, in regards to your career, great time to approach bosses or people in authority now. They'll be more benevolent, they'll be kinder. You will also, with your social public image, which is also the 10th house, and reputation can improve when Venus is in the 10th house. You can even start dressing up better, because to make a better impression in your career, in your worldly affairs, and especially careers that are Venus related can go much better. Can have new opportunities, new developments, like working with luxuries, with food, with wines, with anything that on the palette, anything to do with design, with beauty, with women, with art, with music, with pleasures and entertainment starts going quite well. But whatever career you are in, it just feels like you receive some help or support or joy. You feel joy from work and from the how things are developing there. You're looked upon kindly by bosses, authority figures. You make a good impression with your reputation in your career. Also, it can help you, for example, if you want to speak, for a raise, or to speak about some project with a person in authority. If you're your own business owner, Venus transiting the 10th house can help you improve the image of the company, maybe make the website more beautiful, maybe you as the owner make it more pleasant and popular as a business. What else is there? The Venus is naturally love and relationships. You can feel more affirmation, or like more compliments at work, or you can even have some pleasant romantic experiences in extreme cases. I mean, not everyone that's Leo will feel that. Also, we have Mars in exaltation in most of March, and it's joining Jupiter there and creating a wealth wealth combination in your 6th house of work. So we see there is another influence of work that is showing to be very positive, and Saturn is moving out from your 6th house at the end of the month. So any complications and difficulties connected to work environment, if it was too negative or demanding, it starts lifting off. It starts becoming easier. Some new opportunities are going to come to you through your work. Maybe new work opportunity or project can appear, because Jupiter and Mars are starting a new cycle in your 6th house of work and work project. So that can bring opportunities that create more wealth, that create more abundance of some sort connected to your work, growth of that work environment of your business, or whatever it is, or just a new job for some of you. It can indicate Jupiter is bringing new opportunity. Mars joining Jupiter means, okay, you're gonna act on it, you're gonna take it. So new opportunity appears connected to work, connected to employees, for example. 6th house is to employ someone, employees that are more initiative, that are more positive. If there were some problems connected to employees and people you're hiring in some way, they start disappearing. Saturn is moving from that 6th house, from the end of the month, while two planets that combine together in very positive results, Jupiter and Mars, are making you very proactive there, making you bringing more proactive people as employees into your life as well. Uh, if you're working in a team with colleagues, more goal-getting energy as well, some exciting project. And it's also your health. There can be some enthusiasm and new opportunities to tackle on a health problem, to start a new diet, to start a new health routine or regime. And Saturn is moving from the sixth house. Quite a few Leos that I know, especially Leo rising people, Leo moons, to a lesser degree Leo sun, had, but still had some problems with their health for the past 2 years. They really started looking much more seriously at their health. Some health changes happened that required them to moderate themselves, to limit themselves in some way. Often the health problem can be Saturnian in nature, connected to aging or connected to bones or back or kind of, things that structural ligaments and things, but it can be anything. I don't want uh, uh, I don't want to specify, I'm not a medical astrologer, but some health problem can disappear now with Saturn moving out from the end of March from the sixth house. Some recurring chronic health issue, one that has been heavy on you for some time, can be lifted off. Some, like, you've paid off your karma there. And the ignorance or the pain is stopping in regards to health or health issues with Saturn leaving there, while knowledge appears. Jupiter is there now. Jupiter is visible, joining Mars to get even more strengthened. So like much better doctors can appear in your life, or much better enthusiasm or knowledge what to do the right thing in regards to your health. And Saturn is going to move into your seventh house. It's going to be there till July. So you just get a preview for 3 months, what it's like to have Saturn transiting in your seventh house, which happens once every 30 years only, 29, 30. And then Saturn will come again into your seventh house from December 2020 and will stay there for 2 years. So now in March, from the end of March and April, and May and June, you're going to have a taste of what it is to have Saturn in the seventh house. Well, Saturn in the seventh house main influence is to remove unnecessary relationships in life, such that are to make you reconsider. Wherever Saturn goes, it slows down that area. So it can slow down the area of relationships, of contracts, of agreements. It can slow down the changes in such relationships, so you can have a long drawn view and kind of start introspecting what it is you do not want in relationship, what boundaries you prefer, how it is you can become more professional in your relationships with others, how it is you can learn to keep more promises in relationships with others. Saturn wants you to keep by the rules, by the moral rules, by the unwritten or written human moral rules. So it will make you become way more responsible towards relationships. Often this indicates you taking more responsibility with a partner. And especially who feel that the early born Leos born in 23rd of July, 24th, 25th, maybe to 26th, or Leos with a rising in the first 3 degrees of Leo, or the moon in the first 3 degrees. But everyone will get a little bit of a glimpse, because Saturn is already entering the seventh sign from their sun, moon, or ascendant. So they're going to start getting like an inkling. Maybe not a full-blown situation there, but an inkling what it's going to be like. So it's about growth and maturation in relationships, finding what your boundaries are, not letting someone take advantage of you, not letting someone push you around. But it's a long process. It will take 2-3 years for you to learn that, but by the time Saturn leaves the third house. But you're suddenly going to become way more serious, way more responsible towards your relationships. And people who are not treating you equally and responsibly, you're going to eliminate them from your life. And also it can create you some problems sometimes in marriage or committed relationships, and that's only so you can work on. And maybe a partner demanding more from you. Sometimes it's like your maturation, when wherever Saturn goes, is how you mature, you grow up, you take more responsibility. So a partner can start insisting more on you growing up, or putting boundaries for you, or pushing you towards some career decisions. I can tell when Saturn was transiting the seventh house from my sun sign, my partner then was very demanding, especially for the exact year it was happening. He was putting like lists to me on the wall, what I have to do for the day, what I have to do to start my business. He was pushing me into making my own business. I hated him then. I was like, you're a man, can't you just, I'm a woman, I can stay at home, I don't have to work, leave me alone. And he was like, no, you need to grow up and mature. You need to be independent. You need to, these are also Saturnian lessons. And I'm like, I don't know. I've never had a normal job. How do I do that? How do I build a business? And he was every day leaving me notes. Did you call this? Did you go? Did you try and find new clients? Did you do this? Did you write an article? Did you make a video? I was like, from a partner being structured and being kind of pushed into maturation. But if you're already a mature, responsible person, it doesn't mean this will happen. Actually, often it can be the other way around, that you become more dissatisfied with the partner and you start demanding more. You take the role of Saturn and you start demanding more from a partner, and you start asking for boundaries. So you start saying, okay, giving orders and rules and saying, if you do not do that, this is what's going to happen. Like if you can do this and this, then we can stay together. Or and this can be in personal business relationships. This can be in collaboration with the business partner. It's very good when Saturn is in the seventh house for businesses, actually, for business partnership. You tend to build very strong, lasting relationship, business partnership with the committed people, with people who are quite there for the long term, that with very more professional, more respectable, with experience. They might take longer to form, but they can be quite stable, especially Saturn being in Aquarius, in a sign it loves. So it's very good for businesses, I think, in making responsible, long-lasting contract with clients, with business partners, working in a business partnership or a partnership to some long-term goal gradually as well over the next 2-3 years. On personal relationships, sometimes it can be a drain depending on your relationship karma. It can bring a karmic relationship or relationship that kind of more complications in relationships to be worked through. And if it's the right relationship you're in, then the testing influence of Saturn in the seventh house will just strengthen that relationship, will make it even more committed. Usually partners take on more responsibilities together with Saturn transiting the seventh house, if it's the right relationship, like buying property or having a child together, committing further down. If it's not the right relationship, you'll just feel dissatisfied, and often it's like you can end it then. But the final result is that you'd have and sometimes if it's the right relationship, you have to work harder at it for a year or two. You have to really work hard at it, and then it becomes much better, as I said. I can tell you so much more about Saturn in the seventh house, but that will make the video like 30 minutes, and no one's got time for that. But another thing is, yes, Saturn in the seventh can also bring a relationship to you, but that can be a relationship with an older person, or age difference, 7 or more years, with someone more responsible, with someone more that it takes longer for the relationship to develop. It's not gonna, if you start a relationship now, when Saturn enters your seventh house, it doesn't happen overnight. It needs to be, to space it, to be patient, to move at a slower pace. But don't worry, because Jupiter is joining Saturn from December 2020 in your seventh house. So the whole 2021, you're going to have both Saturn and Jupiter in the seventh house. And that's really manifesting. Many Leo rising people in particular, to a lesser degree Sun or Moon, but Leo main energy, Leo people will get married or will have a next stage in relationships when Saturn and Jupiter, the two manifesting planets of fate, are in their seventh house. It's like the biggest achievements and breakthroughs and the biggest manifestations they're going to have in 2021 will be through relationships or business partnerships and contracts and agreements. So something to look forward to. Thank you so much, Leos. And if you want to find out more about 2020, my 2020 videos, it's a recording for 90 minutes for each sign. It's only $9. and they're available for another less than a month. And these are the best-selling project I've ever done. So specifically, only for Leos and for each of the 12 signs. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful March.